This is Outsourcing Talk. Welcome back to the show. Hello everyone, my name is Ling and this is Tracy from Adamo Software. Throughout the podcast channel, we'd like to tell you a series of exciting stories in IT's company. Today's story is about corporate training and workforce development. In this episode, we will give you some angle of employee training within the outsourcing industry. Besides that, we will introduce some example of how different companies train their employees. Hey Tracy, welcome back to the show. Today we talk about training and development. Do you find any interesting things about this topic?
Hi Lynn, hello everyone, glad to see you again. To be honest, I have found some statistics about employee training and development. It's like this average amount spent in training by the large companies was 22 million in 2020, 3 million higher in 2019. The figure for mid-sized companies was 900,000 and about 800,000 for small companies. Such a huge investment for training and development, isn't it? About 27% of small company, 29% of mid-sized company, and about 38% for large corporation. All of them see learning and development is key priority for their business. We investigate among the leader group. Corporate training is their chosen strategy, no matter what they are, mid-sized, small or large corporation. So what about you, Lynn? Do you find some figure in our industry like information and technology?
Oh yes, according to a 2020 Mercer global talent training study, 82% of professionals want to learn new skill and 85% of employers expect complete digital transformation. So learning and training for employees is vital part for future strategies. When it comes to this IT industry, employees must keep posted on emerging technology, IT infrastructure, and things like that. However, there's a lack of talents in this IT industry. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, America lacks tech talent up to 1.4 million jobs.
Wow, that's a big gap. But I wonder, is there a lack of skilled developer or a vague developer in general? Since I did read a report of in this, 86% of tech firms see hiring top talent as a major challenge for human resources team. From 2016 to 2019, 6 out of every 10 tech employees were able to hire. The rate was rejected since their skills was underestimated. Coding and programming skills are not enough. Develop needs other skills like communication skills, language proficiencies, customer service to work with clients, and so on.
Such a good question. Look at the scale in Vietnam. The lack of IT human resources is springing from the gap between the ability of the employees and the company requirement. You will see that only 30% of IT students meet the requirement and skill that company need. Software engineers in Vietnam have strong English language skill in reading and writing rather than speaking. This IT market requires more than that. So there is a shortage of skilled developers who have strong language skill. Let's take a look at another example. Our client is an English agent working in Japan. In each meeting, our developer and our clients, people use English for all. However, sometimes people use Japanese to express their ideas. Thus make our developer not catch up the meeting. At that time, neither end from this agent will take time to explain for both. Even sometimes there will be misunderstanding. So this IT industry currently lacks the skilled worker. To ensure this enough number of developers for project, tech companies need to focus on employee training. For example, the US company spent about $84 billion on training expenditure, including payroll for facilitator, attendees, and external service. Hey Tracy, we have gone through ups and downs with the COVID-19 pandemic. Do you see any impact on employee training and development, especially in this IT industry or kind like so?
Yes, let me tell you something. These effects of COVID-19 look to be wide-ranging and long-lasting. The lockdown restriction forced companies to deliver skill training online rather than offline or in person like before. It has created an increased demand for digital skills training. Companies could find it hard to ensure the effectiveness of training costs on employees. Probably there is little or no interaction among employees while attending training sessions online. As a result, I think attending digital training program had a little or even no impact on training quality. I have know about last company applying for employee training program. Do you know anything, Lynn?
To be honest, I do not know much about it. However, I remember an interesting employee training programs of Google. It's like Googler to Googler. You can learn from employees to employee. Google provides workers with on-the-job training course and encourage their employees to support and help each other by joining the system. So different employees can learn from each other. I think Google is successful because it makes their employees believe in themselves. They are smart, have this ability and motivation to develop a self-learning culture. Although G2G is volunteering programs, employees can proactive and feel appreciate the learning opportunities and value. Tracy, I believe that you probably know something about these training programs. Do you want to share with us?
Sure, I have found some employee training program on Amazon. It's called Pipers, with much less effectiveness employee with expert to improve their work productivity. Amazon sent email to all employees and say Pipers is a program for employees who are less effective on work despite guide before. Each of you have three options: boost job productivity, sell to quit the job, protest against a decision of being joined in Pipers. Pipers seem to cause lots of controversial talk on social media. However, personally, I think it works. Amazon want to make employees improve their productivity by putting pressure on them. Employees on Amazon will be forced to enhance their work productivity or quit the job. That's a kind of great way to boost the work productivity, isn't it?
Well, and partly we seen it just suitable for Western companies. For Asian firms, it will put much pressure on work-life of worker. Working under a lot of pressure, employees will leave their job to find another. I think the turnover rate definitely rise, and large company easy to hire others employees to fill their vacancy. But for startup, it's much harder. We have talked about successful story from large company. So how about startup, Tracy?
I think startup might have a challenge for employee training rather than other like finance and market share. You can imagine that when startups are small, they are less financial resources, so it's hard for them to find the top talent. Most of them have to hire fresher and fresh graduate with little knowledge and skill. Startup may change, but when employees grow up, they leave. That's a painful situation for startup. For me, there's a few challenges that startup and SMEs might have in employee training. The first one lacks employees who are responsible for training within the company. The second one has to arrange the suitable time for training. The last one have a little amount of money for training. We will look at the example of IT company to see how they train their employees. Realizing the importance of employee training, Able Software has implemented employee training program. It can be like instructor lead training, mentoring, on-the-job training, e-learning, and so on. I see each training methods will be suitable for a specific position. So company will decide every 2 months, experts or senior developer in the company will deliver interactive training session or workshop for others. I think it's a great way to level up their skill and knowledge for employees.
Wow, that's so interesting. Talking about startup, I do know a new concept called corporate debt. You simply understand like when company is new, for example, startup, they often use employees who have strong skill and knowledge. At that time, they didn't create any value or share anything with others. Company didn't pay any kind fee for employee training after working here for a long time. Those employees have just left the company without leaving anything behind. From time to time, when the company have grown and gained something, at that moment, they have to invest a huge amount of money for employee training. All of them are called corporate debts.
Wow, that is totally news for me. I think startup, SMEs or large companies need to invest in employee training if they want to go fast. For instance, in animal software, we think human resources are one of the key components for us to grow fast. So we always focus on employee training program. Hiring interns throughout the year pass the employee training program. They are choose internship from 4 months to 6 months. Interns will have a chance to work directly with project manager. Besides that, agile development and Scrum are two training models for interns.
Right, you have told us about internship programs. What about full-time employees? Is there anything for them behind following internal training programs or something like that?
Absolutely, yes. Besides that, we also send our employee to some training center or hiring expert from training institute. Employee would have a chance to learn and level up their skill via training session. You know that all of the fees animal software will sponsor 100%. However, it will lead to financial burden of employee training for us. So, the financial burden in startup training is obvious. The question is how we can choose the right employee training model for it to ensure the business operation runs smoothly. Finally, I think employee training is crucial for different company size, even if you are startup, SMEs or large corporation. Investing in human capital is worth it, especially for the IT companies. For us, implementing internal training isn't easy and need to combine lots of things. We can't use one training model or concept for our own staff. Each company needs to select the right training program. Each company needs to select the right training program for each position.
This is Ling and Tracy from Idle Software. Let's hear your story about implementing corporate training in different company sites, and thank you for listening.
Bye!